Uh, Hi. So it's been a while. It's Rose. Hi. Um, I found this game and I just thought I'd record it because I haven't really been active lately, and I decided to um just find a distraction from all the stuff that's been going on recently. And yeah. Um So this game is called Vagris. So Vagris is a game that involves a fair amount of reading if it's not to be if it is to be enjoyed and experienced as intended by the developers. I know how to read. This is weird. It is also a difficult game with no hand holding. You got that, no hand holding, where success is by no means guaranteed. You will probably lose everything several times before getting the hang of leading your travel company. Vagris is also a labor of love, created by a tiny team that dared dream big with the support of an amazing little community. We are extremely grateful to all those that helped us along the way with constructive criticism. So I'm gonna be trying to get through this entire game, no matter how many episodes it takes. And I will try my best to be the good YouTuber, I guess. Um, uh, uh, these words: an armed traveler companion is used to carry cargo passengers across the wastelands of the continent. It can get involved in a variety of jobs. I should fucking read that. Y'all
The
need to
River
read it.
Realms, they call it. What a fine poetic name for something as rotten and twisted as our land has become. It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind, spanned almost the entire continent of Zerine, the cradle of man. But after several millennia of progress and incomparable achievements, inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and decadence. Desperately holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm, the emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts, genocide. Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the empire in a matter of days.
So cool!
The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality and rose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the River Realms now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes.
So
The
cool.
inhabitants
Come
of the
on,
land,
this is cool.
such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the river realms. Such a leader is called a Vagris.
Wait, that was just the that was the No, I want achievements. Nothing beside Nothing beside remains around the decay of the colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sand stretch far away. I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
Ah, yes, a Vagris. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagris too, are you not? Many of your kind have I seen in my long life as a vagabond. Care to listen to a story about your exquisite occupation, good master? It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
Alright, okay. I'm really happy that it's so this is probably a tutorial. I'm really happy that it's reading this because I really don't want to read anything. So I hope it stays like this for the rest of the game. If not, I will be reading it. Sure, I'd like to play the tutorial.
Wise you are, good master. My tale is of a Vagris such as yourself, but one whose fate was cursed and wrought with ill fortune. It all happened a long time ago. 10 years, maybe more. I was but a passenger, traveling rough roads and forgotten ways with this comitatus, south along the feet of the great mountains of the west. This comitatus I speak of had fallen under hard times. Perhaps it was due to imperial harassment or unfortunate decisions, or simply bad luck. Irafrons, saint of roads, does not always smile on us mere mortals. But however it came to pass, their coin was drying up, and their opportunities seemed few and far between.
One of the last chances their Vagris saw was to travel to the remote town of Scrap Heap and spend their remaining funds to stock up on cheap scrap metal. This metal could be sold for great profit over in the east and south. It wasn't a bad plan, truly, but it was not without risks either.
Alright, so do I just... welcome to Pilgrims of the Wasteland, a standalone story of Vagris, the Riven Realms. It serves as an introduction to the setting and also a tutorial to the game. Called it. It Behu. Hey Google. It behooves it it behooves you to read the tutorial text and follow the instructions to gain a better understanding of how the game works. The diamond, the pizza icon, can be clicked in the tutorial window to show what the selection is referring to via the pointer. Note that you have to be in the right UI screen for the pointer to appear. Okay. Although Vagris is an open world game due to Pilgrims of the Wasteland being a tutorial, it progresses along a narrow, guided path in the beginning and opens up only later after the core mechanics have been introduced. You can access hotkey lists by pressing F11. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Love this. On the campaign map, you're not Comitatus Traveling Company. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Always occupies a node and moves between nodes through paths. I'm guessing that's these. Move along paths cost movement points. Okay. Indicated next to each path. Every in-game day, you have a number of movement points to spend before you need to camp. To move, click a nearby node and select Move. From the radial menu, you can select a node that is further away. The movement point cost of moving there will be calculated and the path highlighted. Oh no, I had to read this. Oh no, I have to read this. Okay. Also, story has an text called events. Events let you choose different choices. Some choices have a number of consequences, while others have various dependencies. Okay. Having gone ahead of the column with a handful of scouts, you watch from afar as your Comitas slowly trudges along the broken terrain, making its way south ponderously among the dormant geysers. All around you, the hills smolder lazily in the perpetual twilight. Are you all right? Javik's voice resonates with sympathy, as if he appears next to you. Oh, as he appears. Oh my god, I know how to read. As he appears next to you. Oh, my mother's texting me. God. As he appears next to you on the ridge. You nod slowly. But do not look at him. Your gaze is lost in the distance, where ash cloaks the horizon, and the towering mountains to the south and west. You turn to your calm calmness. Calmness. You turn to your calmness and note his supportive smile. You and Javik have been traveling the realms together for years now. There is no person in the world you trust more than him, except perhaps yourself. I know you feel that your hands are tied, but like I said, you made the right choice by leading us here. Time will tell, but I still have my doubts. It's a long shot, you know. Don't forget banditry. We could make serious coin waylaying travelers, Javlik smiles. Smile is mild, but you are used to his sarcastic hero. Unfortunately, for many, this is not a very light-hearted matter. Highwaymen and brigands roam the foreboding wilderness between settlements, and attacks are fairly common. Thus, travelers often band together for protection, which gave rise to golden age of Komitati and Vagris. Seriously though, there may have been little choice, but how you go about it matters much more than that, I think. How's the rest of the crew holding up, you think? They do have faith in you still, Javik says. It should not come as a surprise, since you have known and traveled with most of them for years and years. Some founding members of the Comitatus. We have to remember how to say it when it's the computer guy says it again. You could trust with your life, but you have heard stories before about Vagris, who have been abandoned for less. Times being what they are, Javik trails off, with Imperials cracking down on us. Independence more heavily than before. Business is tough. Everyone knows, and they appreciate your efforts to keep us floating. Our plan ought to give us another chance. Okay. 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 Oh no, no, don't touch it. No! Hey! No! No! Alright, I'll do the reading. The the plan, you talked your traveling companion into this a few weeks ago, but with each step towards the western mountains, more and more of them started to have doubts. Such is the way of the road, perhaps. The plan involves a desperate attempt at squeezing a low selling price for metal bits of any old contact of yours in town of Scraphead, stocking up on said metal by spending your remaining coin and bringing the cargo down south around the Molten Tongue to Devon via Avernum and Ash. There is a shortage of metal in Devon, and you know several buyers who would give a pretty price for your goods if you can only make it there before many others with similar cargo do. Such contacts are the boon of the long decades spent on the roads. But even if Narbo, the villain, gave you an agreeable price in scrap heap, the road is not without its perils. Sneaking through the gap between the dead forest and Molten Tongue is inviting disaster. So it is not a path many Vagri would risk. And of course, if this fails, you are out of alternatives. Do you think Narbo will help us out? The old scavenger was never famous for his goodwill, Jevik wonders. One can only hope. I haven't seen him in years, but we did good business. That said, you are not sure he would remember you, or if he is alive at all. I'm sure such sleazy bastards as Narbo would remember all the business they've ever done. Vagris. Javik rubs his chin absent-mindedly. You have seen this expression of his too often not to realize he is using his sorceress talent to read your mind. Get down to my head, you know the rules. Apologies, Javik rubs his eyes quickly and looks away. You know how it is. It comes to me so naturally that sometimes I don't notice that I'm doing it. Your thoughts were loud, Vagris. I have to actually block them, you see. After joining your Comitatus 6 years ago, Javik proved to be an invaluable asset. Not only does he sense moods and thoughts around him, but he is able to subtly manipulate others when he focuses his inner energies. It comes in handy when doing business. Then there are his other perks. A few times you saw him shatter the minds of men and beasts who tried to kill him. Not a pretty sight, but a very effective deterrence. Yet because he is not a trained sorcerer, at least not in the traditional sense, his abilities are sometimes difficult to control. You have become accustomed to his impromptu thought scans, while others find it less bearable to be around him. For this reason, he has kept his abilities a secret for many years overall. But you cannot keep a secret such as this for long in the close-knit community of Comitatus. Especially not if you keep bursting minds and knowing things you shouldn't. So there are only a handful of your commis who put up with being near him for any length of time. But even if he's not probed your mind in years, certainly not on purpose, but neither by accident, perhaps he is less in control now, which suggests he is more on edge about this whole trip than he lets on. Oh, I'm actually dealing with a cold right now, so my throat is bugging me, like, it feels like it's a little closed right now, and, my eyes are just a little itchy. It's not COVID, it's not COVID, because I can still taste food, and I can still do things, and I'm not, it's not COVID. But yeah, just dealing with stuff. Both of you head west to join the column. So we go back here.
As we were coming up to the gates of Scrap Heap, this trash pile town of cutthroats and scavengers, we could see the vast mountain ranges of shattered Bivanda Thar looming ominously over the horizon, half shrouded in the gaseous vapors belched forth by the volcanoes in the far west. My companions prepared to do their business in town as fast as they could, not wishing to tarry in this notorious place.
At the foot of the ever-fuming mountain of the ancient dwarven kingdom lies Scrap Heap. The town of scavengers, debris, and junk is piled into veritable hills upon which the rickety homes of the decrepit inhabitants stand precariously. Ash lingers everywhere, and the sun is almost always absent from the twilight skies. Deals are struck day and night over the precious metal scraps gathered in the ruins of nearby Dvendar Thar, while the Heap King oversees all from his dreaded tower. Shady eyes and soot-covered faces watch from under ashland awnings. Life is cheaper than iron here, some say. You make your way to the race stash, a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street beneath the imposing tower of the Heap King, but not quite under its immense shadow. Few frequent the establishment, which makes it perfect for Naboo in his little operation of honest merchants. Apparently the knave is not only alive, but has done well for himself in the past decade or so. Taking only Javak, you leave the comitatus to the care of Titus, your quartermaster, while you are gone for negotiating. I can read people. Gah! Ash is flitting from the black sky as you cross the street and nod to the bouncer of the race stash. You gave him your sidearms quietly, Rules are rules, at least as long as they can enforce them. Yet, they have the courtesy of allowing you to keep your dagger. And of course, they have no idea what Javak is capable of, should it come to a scuffle. Not that you expect such a thing, but with Narbo, one never knows. Though you have told your crew that he and you go way back. The entrepreneur is a capricious and manipulative man with whom you did not part on the best of terms. Does he remember that? Surely. Could he be persuaded to take your proposal? Who knows? Your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern's interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminates the common room. Shadowy faces turn towards you and observe you through the smoke. The bartender, a thick-set man in a dirty tunic, is chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs a skeleton of a large heap lizard on display. Naru is sitting at a table in the back, his bodyguard half hidden in the darkness at the wall behind him. Make your way over confidently to Narbu. That sounds like that sounds like something that will get me killed. And since Narbu has been, I'm probably saying his name, has been doing very well, I'm pretty sure he's not going to appreciate that. So I'm going to walk over to the bar. The bartender stifles a belch and nods his greetings. What can I do for you? The way he grabs an earthenware mug suggests that it's probably best to order something. You glance at Javak briefly before paying for 2 rounds of local mushroom brew called Ash Tongue. It is somewhat less loathsome than you imagine. Leaning over, you drink your drink. You quietly tell the bartender that you're here to see Narbo. Are you now? He is doing calculations and he don't like to be bothered when he's doing calculations. He indicates Narbo at the corner table with a nod. The entrepreneur is indeed busy poring over a stack of papers, fiddling with a calculus. This is the first time I've done one of these and actually read it out loud. I usually don't play role-playing games like this. I'm usually on a shooter or an action game or a farming, some sort of simulator. I'm actually reading a book, and this is actually really nice, and I'm liking this. Now, sure, I'll have to edit the first portion that I recorded with this portion. You're not gonna hear the part where it cuts, but like, I love this. This is awesome, and honestly, I'm only going to do this until the end of the tutorial because that'll just be the length of the episode. I don't want my computer to take a whole day to export an hour 1080p 60 frames per second recording. So I'm just gonna do this. Walk over to Narble right away. That'll get you killed. Wait until he's done with his papers. At least you can finish your beer. You chat with the bartender while sipping your beer. Most of it is boring small talk, but when the conversation turns into a discussion of local prices, you know Javic's stern expression and the small hand gestures he makes. This is a signal that you two have been using for a long time now, indicating that he has gleaned something from the man's service thoughts. When minutes later the bartender goes to the back to check the kitchen, Javik leans closer. Apparently there's a supplier of meat and mushrooms that has a surplus on his hands he wants to get rid of quickly. You can't help but smile and nod. This could save you quite a lot of coin. Also, your friend Narbo seems to be having trouble with a package. In his mind, it is a constant frustration and connection to the Heap King. You nod to Javik and notice how... Oh, so right-click his menu. I should save this. Oh, okay. You nod to Javik and notice how the sleazy merchant has stopped fiddling with the calculus and is now looking at some papers listlessly. It is time. Walk over to Narbo's table. Why is this? Well, why am I enjoying this? The entrepreneur looks up from the stack of papers in front of him and rubs his eyes. Narbo is a corpulent man with bushy dark beard and a few missing teeth. Part of his face had been covered with scars similar to those left by burns. That, coupled with the withered and mutated left arm that hanged limply from his side, it is a clear indication of the taint. The merchant wears a leather jerkin studded with small bronze and bone coins, a sign of wealth and boldness. His bodyguard, a lithe man with tribal tattoos and an outfit made of leather, moves his hand calmly to a spear that leans against the wall. Narva's mouth falls open as the spark of recognition flares up in his eyes. No wonder it has been 10 years. The fuck, mate? He blinks. I thought you croaked people, Narva waves his good hand around and looks at his bodyguard. Told tales of your demise. The man finishes his sentence for him as the merchant nods vehemently. That business with Karnak outpost in the storm, Narvo adds. You tell him that you were indeed at Karnak when the terrible arcane storm struck. You describe the horrors of the night briefly. You add how many of your original comitatus died there, close friends, old traveling companions, but you walked away unscathed. This was years ago. Sheesh, that fucker Irophants looked after you. Something fierce, eh? Oh my god, y'all, just kill me. Just kill me. I shouldn't even be attempting to read any of this. Narva chuckles heartily. But I'm sure you haven't come to reminisce about good times, eh? This guy Canadian? Whatever. His predatory smile makes you cautious, even though he invites you to sit with a casual wave of his meaty hand. I apologize to him for the unfortunate way you parted 10 years ago. Down to business right away, you have no time to spare. Remind him that you do not like threats, especially not insinuated ones. Honestly, as far as I can tell, you never did anything against me, eh? Nerva shrugs with a wry smile. Of course, you could have sent someone to warn us. The bodyguard finishes the sentence. Back when Narbo and you parted ways, Avernum's Collegium was hot on your trail. They got offended by how you two outplayed them by smuggling in a shipment of exotic spices without their knowledge and selling it to a local nobleman merchant house. You look at Narbo and tell him there was no way of warning him. Even knowing where he was after the chaos was unleashed following the heist in Avernum. You had to get your crew out of there, so you did. The merchant is fiddling through thoughtfully with a stack of papers while listening to you. I appreciate you coming clean, even if the story business was so many years ago, he says after a long pause. The bodyguard becomes visibly less tense, but something tells me that ain't all you came for still. So why is it gonna be? You breathe in, time to outline your position. You explain to explain to him you want him to give you a discount on a shipment of metal scraps, which you then would smuggle into Devon through contacts you have in the city's underworld. The profit on the shipment would be quite exquisite. You do not name your contact, but divulge enough of her that the plan looks solid. Buyers, you say, are lining up, expecting the shipment soon. Nervo sits in silence, eyes fixed on the table as if listening to some noise from afar. He does not cut you off at any time during your proposition at length. After you are done, he looks up and gives you a weak smile. That sounds like you have been thinking a long time about it, he says as he shifts in his chair. And it's a great plan, except for the part where I give you a discount you're asking for. Not much else. And I don't do that, mate. That would make me an almoner, the bodyguard adds discreetly. That a word? Naboo looks at him. When the man nods, he turns back to you. An almoner. See, I'm no almoner. This guy's a fucking idiot. You know, you gotta do better than that. What you got for me? Oh, it's locked. Okay, well, I can, Nerval's jaw drops when you insinuate that you know about his little problem. Fuck me, mate. You are better connected than I thought. Or you having something up your sleeve. The merchant says as he eyes Javik suspiciously. For a while he is quiet. I like this. God, it's almost 40 minutes already. God. Oh, okay, okay. After this, I'm ending this video. Um, for a while he's quiet. Then he looks up and narrows his eyes. Tell you what, I think we can help each other. You headed to Devon by way of Avernum, eh? When you nod, Narbo leans closer and signals his bodyguard. The man with the dreadlocks steps closer and carefully produces a small package from beneath his leather jerkin, then puts it into the merchant's palm. This here little fella is mighty important to me, you see? If you take this out of the city and deliver it to my associate in Avernum, we're even. You get your discount scrap from me. The merchant offers you the package. Javek draws in a breath, but before he could speak, Narbo interrupts him. And before pretty boy here asks, no, I won't tell you what's in it. And don't even think about opening the package. What I can say is, it ain't dangerous to you as if. But, you might want to keep it hidden from the damn militia of good old Craphead. Crapheap. You take the package, the way Narbo glares at you makes it clear that you have no other choice. This might just be the opportunity you have hoped for. Oh, more reading! I love this, but God, my voice is already tired, and oh my God. Oh, God. The package is small enough to fit in your palm, feels very light, and is wrapped in fine leather. You pocket it after briefly observing it. You'll be looking for a man named Scorner in Avernum. He ain't to be trifled with, either. Just tell him I sent you and you'll be fine. You can find him and his men in Lavinus, Wateringham, most of the time. Give this little fella to him, and him only. Understand? After you assure him. You do. Narbo instructs you to give him an hour. Then look for his people at the market and simply introduce yourself. They will know what price they should give you on the metal scraps by then. He motions to his man. You and Javik stand up and make ready to leave. Rever will take ye to back exit. We don't want to give people the idea they can come here to beg for almonds now, do we? Or anyone to connect us and run the militia, for that matter. You got what you came for, so you leave with Wraith's dash through the back entrance and head back to the Comitatus. And no! Stop! Okay, okay, can I say oh no! Okay. Package. The shipment. Okay, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? I need to save! How much money do I have? Where is my money? Ah. Yeah, I know I lost money on that. Shut up. So I have at least 800 supplies. The awning equipment. Awning equipment? So we have, let me do mental math. We just need where's the last three? So I need this to be 300. Oh god, no. Okay. Awning. Items, the third type of cargo, do not take up cargo space and are not used to trade. Switch. Paints. Settlement. Spend the night inside the garden island. On second thought, there are still things. I think I'm gonna spend the night. You realize that even if you are looking for the package, if they're looking for the package Norval gave you, there is a minuscule chance of finding it among several departing caravans, all made up of dozens of people, respectively. Besides, the packet is tiny and well hidden at the bottom of the sack of dried mushrooms. A robed magistrate of the Heat King appears to coordinate the search effort, picking out people or even whole traveling groups for inspection. As your commentatus draws near, it takes only a passing glance from him to check you and your crew before he motions to the guards to let you through. You quietly pass under the gate and out into the broken wastelands. The commentatus is well on its way and Scrappy is a mere dot on the horizon by the time Javak joins you at the front of the line. Just like I said, you made the right choice with this venture. This is so fucking cool! Talk of how you may have saved us is spreading like wildfire, he says with a faint smile. Of course, we do have to make it alive to Devon with the cargo, but it's a good start, don't you think? I still have money left. Non-agreement agreed. There may be hope left for the commentators after all. Agreed. There may be hope left for the commentators after all. And you know. You know, it's a large part thanks to you. And your ability, not mine. Javik smiles as he bows his head in thanks. Not only I fully agree, but it's my pleasure to be of use. And I'm sure the journey will be fine. It's not like we started this business yesterday. With that, you both go back to your duties. And the constant monitoring of the horizon, as if all goes well, you should reach the wound in a few days. Where can you turn south along? Where you can turn south along the edge of the molten tongue and travel down to Avernium. +3 morale. Whenever you leave a seminar, story, checkpoint, as well as start of each game day, your game is saved automatically overwriting the previous autosave. Manually saving is unavailable in the standalone story. And in the open world main campaign, you can save manually in the game menu, except during combat and events. You can load your save game. Okay, so the game is saved.
There they were, with a full cargo hold and filled with newfound hope. Yet, the road ahead still promised hardships and peril. I traveled with them southwards, expecting to reach more habitable lands beyond the Molten Tongue's river of lava.
Okay, so this is saved. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to go edit the video, basically do stuff. And I'm going to upload it. And I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did, even though my reading isn't the best. And I will be playing this again soon. Bye-bye.